Hey everybody, what's up? So, I come to you this evening on a little bit of a somber note, and forgive me if my volume is quiet. Um, I, this story is not like many other stories we see in the news. Um, it's one of those things that when you're connected to a place, you sometimes it makes you stop and take pause. Um, this story, this particular situation, um, is no different than many others that have come before it. But um, it's sad nonetheless, and mainly because I knew the individual, not so close that we were friends and were together on a regular basis, but somebody I knew, um, and actually had, she was a few years younger than me, and she graduated with my brother, actually. And he called me this evening and asked me if I had remembered this person. And I said, yeah, I know her name. I mean, her name is very unique, and so it popped into my head right away. And but it was one of those situations where it's been so many years, you can't quite put the pieces of their face back together. You know what I mean? You think you have it. You think there might be something. You think it might be forming, and then, I'm not sure. And it drives you crazy. Because the name, it just, it's there and it comes back and you're like, yeah, I knew her. Yeah, what about her? She's dead. Really? What happened? Well, she was found dead, with all three of her children dead, and her husband dead, who had apparently shot himself. And I'll leave a link in the sidebar. The town, the reason um, it has a little more of a connection to me is because the town that it happened in is the town that I lived in for many years. Many, many years. After I left the DC area, my parents and I had moved to this area where I attended high school and college and lived for many years after that. um, so the pictures that you'll see in the articles, I've been down that street, I can't count how many times. It's a fairly small town, but it's near a couple of larger cities. In between, pretty little place. Getting a little busier the way it is, growth from the DC area, but I digress. So apparently it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and the two sons, the daughter and the wife, all had traumatic lacerations. So the deaths were not confirmed, but it's sad to hear, it's sad to see. We see it and we hear it all the time. Her husband happened to be a CSX railroad employee. Now, of course, nothing has been confirmed about whether he was a current employee or a former employee. We all have a friend on here, a friend someone I had mentioned before, lost their job with the railroad, fell on hard times. My wife's best friend from high school, her husband, has been laid off from the railroad for months. You know, Mike Fever I Am put out a video not that long ago with some statistics from the railroads about the rail traffic that's down, the goods that aren't going on the rails, and a lot of people getting laid off. So it'll be interesting to find out if that might have been the case. There were also multiple handwritten notes found around the house, none that were confirming, but seemed to lead to some sort of psychological problems the husband had had. So my brother emailed me some pictures, and when I opened it and I saw her face, it just came flooding back. And the name and the face clicked, and I went, oh man, she was cool. Was cool. Anyway, just feeling the weight of this particular one, when it happens to anybody. I think there's a lot of us out there that feel the weight of it, understand, but it always seems to be worse when it happens to people you've known, people that you liked, that were cool, friends, anybody really. Anybody's time that was cut short because of someone else. So, anyway, check out the links if you want. And that's it. Night, everybody.